On today's episode of Down the Rabbit Hole, we travel to Birmingham's NEC Arena for the Classic Car and Restoration Show. Off I go with Michael Caine. No, just kidding, but gives an Italian job vibe.
Well, here we are now in the barn finds. What a beautiful thing. Some of these spectacular motors here. Some people want to get making all nice and back to the way they should be, and then others just want to keep them in the condition they're in now. Or this one's got the same engine as the Dutton.
What is it though?
It's a Ford Escort. Ford Escort, look, it's got a crossflow in it. Whoa. Aimee, can you see the Mini?
As you can tell, one of us is absolutely obsessed with Minis.
Not me.
Having grown up with Minis in the 90s, it's one of my first favourite cars that I always love to see on the road. I promised myself I would have a Mini. But does a Mini Countryman count?
Not really, it's a BMW.
That's swearing.
It's a Jag. Not much of this one left.
Compared to fully restored cars, it's really nice to see that some cars are still kept in their rather rustic condition from the barnyard finds. And to our surprise, we even found this really nice Chevrolet. That's got to be at least 17 foot worth of car.
I think it's 18 foot, I think I stepped it out.
You've got very big feet then.
12 inches.
But size doesn't matter.
Hey, you know what I say with big feet? Big personalities.
It was surprising to see a Ford Puma.
Don't look like the new ones, do they?
No. In all honesty, why not just keep things as they are? But that's only my opinion anyway. But then you'd keep them in the barn though, wouldn't you? And then you'd keep them as they are.
Oh yes. How many people are itching and they just want to get the tea cut out and start making them all look fancy again then?
I wouldn't personally. Aside from them looking a little bit rusty and a little bit
What car's
wear. It's a Mitsubishi, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sure that we had a barnyard find as well, kind of. My first car was actually a Vauxhall Corsa that you bought for me as my very first car. What happened to it?
It grew grass.
And I'd say probably it grew its own ecosystem. Kind of like this Citroen here as well. Noticed some moss on the side. It would take some time to weld some of these cars as well and having it looking shiny again. Jag, another Jag. And how often is it that you see red Jags?
Got to name the car.
Would it be an Austin or a Ford? Or a Bentley?
Or a Daimler.
Now, it's surprising to see a Rolls Royce that was a barnyard find, but surprisingly it's been sold. They even had an auction that was going on in another area of the NEC arena.
Oh, sorry.
That's fully restored though, isn't it?
Yes.
Finding it rather wholesome to see so many companies and so many clubs that would get together and rally round to meet and greet and share ideas and experiences on how to do car restorations. Quite wholesome really, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
And back to the Mini again. Clearly Mini obsessed. And here we come to see the wind-up Ford. When I say wind-up, I actually mean the old wind-up ignition. But can Matthew explain how the ignition works?
You switch the key on, and it puts the power on.
Yes, but then how do you actually get the cars to start?
With the crank handle at the front.
Ah.
So switch the ignition on, go outside and crank it. Which is okay, unless you leave it in gear.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get flattened.
With Ford being an American car company, it's really nice to see some of the American style Fords. They look rather classic and animated, don't they?
Oh yes, they're very from cartoon.
Almost reminds me of that Milky Way advert of the red car and the blue car.
Yeah.
You can tell Matthew and myself grew up in the 80s and the 90s to remember these adverts.
Some of us didn't grow up.
Mm-mm.
Oh, time to spend some money.
And yes, there were plenty of stalls to find as well. Some were selling all sorts of like car parts and spares, and even had some Hot Wheels that were still in their original packaging. You used to play with Hot Wheels, didn't you, darling?
Oh yes. Skoda!
Are they all Skodas there?
Yep, Skoda. Wartburg.
Now, of course, being born in the 90s, I never actually realised how really blocky some of the Skodas look. Or how actually quite blocky all cars looked. Ah yes, the old Ford Capri. My great uncle used to have one of those, but it was in white. We always used to race around Birmingham in his old Ford Capri.
Meow. Blood bike.
Just my size as well. A racing Jag, and look at the really beautiful immaculate colour on it. Not very often you see British race green on cars anymore now, is it?
Nope, it's not a very common colour now.
If I'm really honest, that's my favourite colour on all cars. That's how it should be, in my opinion.
Oh, the old Opel GSEs. Ooh. I think it's missing some bits.
You know what they always say, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yep, know that. Ooh.
And to our surprise, we even came across a couple of Messerschmitts.
Oh, getting to my favourite one.
And what's your favourite then, my darling?
The AC Cobra. Now that sounds nice starting up.
Would that be a V8 or a V12?
V8. That's a very short car. Oh, now what we're coming up to?
Now, a bit of a surprise about the Vauxhall Calibra. This is actually one of Matthew's very first cars, one that he restored himself, wasn't it?
It was my 5th car. But yeah, quite new to the world of cars.
Yeah. But it was something that you really loved dearly though, wasn't it?
Oh yes, cost me £3.50 to fix it when I bought it.
And what year was that then?
2006.
I would have been finishing school by then.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
Vroom.
Now Matthew and I will probably be debating a little bit later on about what we would have now, if given a chance.
AC Cobra.
There were even quite a few stores that were selling a lot of model cars. I mean, a lot. And before you ask Matthew, there is no room on our shelves. And there's no room in the garage for model cars as well.
This store was quite good. It had ignition kits for every sort of car going, which was quite good.
We even came across a vast amount of stores that were selling all sorts, from your rev counters to even display clocks and even a few bits of spare parts for any cars.
Yeah. More models.
And plenty of Hot Wheels as well.
Hot Wheels!
Plenty of Hot Wheels and plenty of Matchbox cars that were even being sold, even in their original packaging. Right from the DeLorean to the Mystery Machine.
Yeah.
Right from the DeLorean to the Mystery Machine. Of course, you've got to have a bit of humour as well in the garage, haven't you?
Oh yes, always a little bit of humour.
Would you be able to read the WD-40 sign with a straight face?
Oh, yes.
I'll hold you to that. We were even debating about wanting to look at some new mirrors for your Dutton as well.
Oh, we're going to get new mirrors for the Dutton, but don't spoil that. Here we are, back to the cars.
Here we came across some Ford Sierras.
Mazda.
Is that Bedford or? I don't know what that was.
Bedford.
No, it was. Of course, there would have to be some race tyres with. Of course, there would have to be some race tyres with your surname on it.
Oh yes. I'll have 4, please. I do state yet again there was some beautiful cars on show. We did turn up on the Sunday as well, so I thought there'd be less people, but obviously this bloke's been sat there since Friday.
It was really nice to see some British cars that were on display again. It's a shame that not many British cars are manufactured in England anymore now, are they? Or it's a shame that the majority of the cars are not manufactured in England anymore now. There were plenty of cars that even had a lot of background history on them as well, where they've been bought. Hence why it's always nice to see. Hence why it's always nice to hear some stories from strangers, and just that they were able to share some of their experiences on how they went about restoring their own cars, like this gentleman here.
Yeah, it's not very often you see woodwork being done on a car. They were fixing this one up, doing an engine change or something like that, and then starting it up. So I think they were quite happy it started up.
Certainly were. And here we come to see the Rovers. I also grew up watching Rovers being driven around on roads as well. I've always promised myself one day I would maybe get one for myself. And if memory serves me well, my granddad and my uncle both had Rovers. One being a hatch and one being I think a saloon or something like that.
Possibly.
No. One being a hatchback and one being your typical family car.
Well, here we are at the minute, the Westfield stand with Ansted's single-seat race car on display.
I think he was doing some sort of pep talk or something, wasn't he?
It was really...
oh no, he was awarding...
awarding the winners of the show.
Yeah, he was awarding some winners for the show for maintenance of some of their prized possessions.
The best in show and stuff like that, I think.
What even made this visit more wholesome? What even made this visit so wholesome as well was the fact that we were able to see some cars that had been restored by the Car SOS team. Now, bearing in mind though, I was secretly hoping to have met Fuzz, who was one of the presenters for Car SOS, but he must have already paid a visit on Saturday, so we just missed him.
Triumph Herald. Come on, we're going to have two of them.
Yes, you heard it correctly. Matthew had two Triumph Heralds. One being a donor car, the other that he bought for himself to repair. You kept that hidden gem hidden in your nan's garage once upon a time, didn't you?
Oh yeah. That would have been a nice barn find for somebody.
We were more so surprised to see that there were some Land Rovers that were on display, but they were everywhere regardless anyway, Land Rovers and Range Rovers. But a car's a car, no matter what you've got, you flaunt it.
Rover.
Yes.
Rover. I think there's a theme. Aimee, do you like Rovers?
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a lot. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a lot. But I grew up seeing Rovers on the roads back in the 90s, and if memory serves me well, my uncle used to have one of these. Even my dear granddad as well. I believe he must have had an estate, I think, when I was growing up. Remember when I found that Rover badge that I think we thought that's fallen off a truck?
It's not, it's an old car.
Are you sure?
100%.
It came off a car?
Yeah.
Looks pretty massive for a
Yeah,
badge.
it used to be bolted at the front.
Of course, there would have to be emergency vehicles on display as well. We'll show you some American police cars shortly. And of course, we even had the classic MGs as well that were British manufactured cars once upon a time.
They're not classic, surely.
Yes, they are.
Oh, they're not.
Oh, yes, they are.
They're not classic,
Well,
they're
they
just
don't-
old. It's a bloody beautiful car, but they outprice themselves.
That, you're talking about them. We came across this rather unusual looking MG.
It looks fast.
Is this the last, and if memory serves us well, this was the last manufactured MG car that was made in Britain.
Yeah, probably.
Or one of them at least.
That yellow Ford Escort in the background.
Ah yes, the good old Ford Escorts. I believe my dad had a Ford Escort Mark IV.
Yeah. All depends on the headlights, which mark it is.
What's a Ford Escort without a spoiler, hey? Now this one is a little bit baffling. You can obviously tell people do love to have an Aimee car, don't they?
Oh, yes. Look at the lights on this one. These were very tricked.
Very trippy as well.
Full focus RS.
But, okay. You can see how really dazzling these lights are on the Ford Focus RS.
Yeah.
They look tricked and trippy.
Wow. There's another Mini on the screen, Aimee. You've got something to confess?
I have no idea what you're talking about. All I can say is I grew up with seeing Minis on the road. I always promised myself I would buy one day. Financing though doesn't count.
Here we are, look. Anstead. We were quite far away from them, we couldn't get any closer.
On this part of the visit, you can see that he was awarding some of the spectators and entrants for the Best in Show of cars.
Bond bug. Who remembers the Bond bugs?
You may notice a little. You may notice a picture of Tim and Fuzz from Car SOS. You may notice a picture of Tim and Fuzz on Car SOS. You may notice a picture of Tim and Fuzz from Car SOS. They restored that Bond bug. As a matter of fact, there were a couple of cars from Car SOS that was shown here at the NEC arena.
Yeah, I think there was 3.
And here we come to see the Reliance.
Oh, this has got a picturesque of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, I'm sure.
Now this is giving Chitty Chitty Bang Bang vibes, this is. Whether it's working on the same footplate on it, we don't know. Now here we have a V12 car here. What was it? So what does this V12 engine belong to, Matthew?
It's a Jag, isn't it? Yeah, Jag. Here we have another Ford Escort with a crossflow in it.
You've got a thing about crossflows, haven't you?
Oh yes!
Of course, Matthew's car contains a Ford Escort Mark I's crossflow engine in it.
Yep. It goes bom 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 bom.
A bit loud, but of course that's how it should sound though, isn't it?
Yeah. One day, one day. The one thing I do feel was quite good about this show is people were working on the cars as you were walking past. So they had like sectioned off areas and they were welding or grinding or doing something, and it was quite good to actually observe other people working on the cars. Want it, Ames?
Mm-hmm. Chrysler?
Cadillac, wasn't it?
Or Cadillac. It's interesting. It was very interesting to see a Cadillac here as well. Oh yes, there was plenty of food stalls over at the NEC. We were sure to bring back a treat or two.
So this one is an MG with a Jag engine in it.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite interested in where the engine was from and the car was from.
To our surprise, this MG has a Jaguar engine in it. You would never see that, would you?
Well, we did.
Mm-hmm. We all like surprises.
Oh, look at that Beetle.
Cream one looked lush, didn't it? The cream Beetle looked rather lush, didn't it?
Oh, yes.
And here, of course, we came up to the French section, right from your Renaults to right from the Renault to the Citroens. Now, surprisingly, now a bit of a secret for you. Even Matt never knew this one as well. looking at this Renault Megane Coupe, this was going to be one of my first car choices when I thought about driving when I was 16.
I'm glad you grew out of that one. Sorry, I love Renaults.
That sounds like that's a terrible lie. No, yeah, that's a terrible lie, Matthew. Can you try that again? Make it sound a little bit more convincing that you actually love a Renault.
I did. I love Renaults.
And here we come to the classic Ford Pumas. Ones that you hardly see on the British roads. Yes, of course, we have to see the Minis again. Now owned by BMW.
There's another Mini there, look. What Mini is that?
That would be a Mini Clubman.
Oh, a proper one then.
Absolutely. And of course we came back to some classic Minis.
I love the splash guard on the front of the engine to stop the spark plugs corroding. Well, stop the spark plugs like jamming up and seasoning. That was a big problem.
Wouldn't that be an idea to have that in all cars?
Well, not all cars like that. But yeah, Minis, that was the problem. Having the spark plugs right at the front, so when it rain and wind and all the rubbish off the road just hit the front of the spark plugs. So you used to lose a spark plug when you take them out.
And here we come to some more classic Ford Sierras.
Nice cars. Nice cars, but blooming expensive nowadays.
I'm sure your mum and dad had a Ford Sierra, didn't they?
They had a couple. The last one they had was a Ford Sierra Azura in blue.
And that's what you had for your very first car, didn't you?
Yeah, they passed it to me and then Dad took it over to Isle of Man when they moved over.
Here we come to some American police cars. And of course you even had the retro style ones as well. Here is a Plymouth. Here is a Plymouth police car in its glory.
There was some nice American stuff as well.
I do love the white trim on the wheels as well.
Yeah.
It just makes the car look clean. I don't know why. Now, of course, America do like their big cars, don't they? The bigger the roads, the bigger the engines. Now here we see a really massive Ford pickup. What does it say on there? Something generation?
I don't know, I didn't read it.
No, I couldn't really read that either.
Very tidy this.
You can really tell how much effort some of these owners go above and beyond to keep their cars looking so pristine.
Now this one is special.
What makes it so special?
This one is Matt's cousin's hot rod.
When we say Matt, we mean Matthew Coates.
Yes, Coatesy, Gruff, whichever one you like to call him. He's just completed a restoration on this, so the body was off and repainted.
All with Gruff's assistance.
Yeah, or hindrance.
I'm going to tell him you said that.
You should watch it. So you should know.
Here, this truck is 100 years old. Would you believe that?
This one was tricked out. The owner was quite nice as well, so he had a bit of a chat with us.
Of course, to our delight, we came across the Kit Car Club. And this chap was more than happy to show us how it looks on the inside as well. I think that car was able to drop, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's on air. So that's what we're showing now. That's the air system.
It was a nice surprise to see that a Kit Car Club was on show as well.
Yeah, I might be able to bring the duck in there.
There were some nice companies that were doing their part with some charities as well, including the Blood Bikers. It was nice to see them on display there.
Was that you nodding to say I want one of these, please?
Perhaps. Yeah, the NEC had everything on display, from a small Mini to a large Daimler.
Yeah, it was quite a good show actually. I was quite amazed how many enthusiasts actually brought their stuff to show.
Yeah.
Their pride and joy. More Sierras. Can't beat a good Sierra though, can we?
Not at all, no.
Then we went to the Maguire tent.
So what were we doing at the Maguire tent?
We were looking for polishers. I think this car's missing something. I can't quite put my mind to it though.
Missing everything.
Yeah, it's got a chassis, it's the main bit.
That's the skeletal part of the car though, isn't it?
Yeah. So this bit is for Barry. So these are all the Morgans.
Of course, we had to pay a visit to the Morgan Club here for our dear friend Barry.
His car would look quite the part in
Okay.
amongst these.
Definitely, yeah.
But he will say they've got one too many wheels on.
For those of you that don't know, that Barry owns a 3-wheeled Morgan with a Motor Guzzi engine.
No, Motor Guzzi, yeah. Motorbike engine. It goes like the stink.
Actually does rather well on roundabouts as well, other than the Reliance.
Yes. That's because the weight's on the front wheels,
Yeah.
so it's more evenly balanced. It's quite sketchy on grass though. That was a nice show, really good fun.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really good. What was your favourite car of the show?
Oh, now you're really asking me. There was so many cars I could pick from though, but I know there was a couple of Rovers that I was eyeing up.
A couple?
A couple, probably all of them.
Too many Rovers.
There was a few Austin Minis as well that caught my eye, but I think cream of the crop, if I wanted to own a car, I think it would probably be the Vauxhall Calibra. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
I used to have a B1, yellow.
I would have loved to have seen that. The nice thing about over at the NEC to see, well, the fact that we were able to look at some cars that were in need of restoration or project cars that were on us, yeah, and barn finds as well. Yeah, it was really nice to see that they were all incorporated and for everyone to have a look at. And it was really nice to see some new cars or newish cars and modified cars that were for auction earlier on as well.
Yeah, it's a big auction. We didn't really take much of the videos of the auction because there are quite a lot of them sold. I didn't want to upset people for the prices they were going for.
I know, yeah. A bit sad, heartbreaking though, but I mean, I think maybe if you look on the NEC website, maybe they might have had the auction on display, don't they?
A big one, real big one. Aimee, what did you go for driving?
A Mini Cooper. Hatch.
Is that the first time you've ever been in a Mini Cooper?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I only ever sat in one though, but this is actually the first time that I've been driven in one though. So, and the best thing about it was that it was manufactured in the year of my birth, which was 1990.
So it's a vintage car.
So you say.
Yeah, so no, really nice. If you watch the video back, I'll put the link here back to that bit, the point of the video as well, just so you can see how big the grin and the smile.
Yeah. All of the donations that the that the company were doing. We're going towards a majority of children's charities, though, so we're really made up for you guys for choosing some chosen charities for a good cause.
Yeah,
Welcome.
so in the comment box we'll leave the link to the charity if you want to donate, because they were doing a real good job. They were taking people out, kids, families, everything, 20 quid, 30 quid, 40 quid. It was amazing. It was amazing what they were getting up to and what they were doing. So
yeah, it ranged from hot rods and Lamborghinis as well, though, in the drive-in as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which was really nice. I know. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching, and we really appreciate all of the support that you have given us throughout the couple of years as well.
Okay, the dogs have waited for us to get back, so we're going to have to pay attention to the dogs because our school's going. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.